Hi, everybody, to the next episode of CapVista Clips. Today we have the team from Thrive Wellness, Lachlan and Anthony. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
We also have Layla, who you all know, who's part of the team at CapVista. And today we're just going to have a chat to the guys about what they're doing, the wellness space, how it integrates with tech, and their story. So thanks for jumping on, guys, and and having a chat to us. Absolutely,
thanks for having us. Excited awesome. to chat.
Yeah, so I think we'll just kick it off. Tell us your story. Tell us how you got to this point. What did you do in the past to get to your platform and your entire offering?
I'll kick it off, Anne, if you don't mind. So my personal experience, I've got about 15 years experience in kind of GP practice world, from owning and operating medical centres here in Victoria. And I guess that experience then led me into developing a software brand called HealthSight, which has been really quite successful, currently looking after a touch over 700 sites across Australia. And I think where Thrive has come from has really stemmed from that experience in, I guess, more of the Western kind of GP clinics, and seeing more, I guess, of an opportunity in the wellness space. So it's really been an evolution over that last 10, 15 years.
Awesome.
What was the gap that you saw that you're like, I can fix this?
And I'll give that one to you. That's a curly one.
I guess to answer that question, my story is a little bit shorter than Locke's with respect to Lachlan and I work together at HealthSight. My role there is to actively work with the individual clinics. The practice managers are the key decision maker or influencer in that space. So in working with them to understand what their technology requirements are to provide cutting edge services to their patients in order to be able to online book the doctor of their choice, etc. In general conversation, it became very apparent that there was a strong desire and appetite for the practice manager to be able to keep their clinic in front of their patient base, even at a time when the patient may not be actively thinking about their healthcare needs. So that was something that Lachlan and I got together over and talked about, how we've potentially done that in the past through existing offerings of HealthSights. And whilst there was sort of fringe elements, it was nowhere near to the sort of service and product that we have now through Thrive. So when we first developed Thrive and took that to a small sort of audience of key customers within HealthSight, they absolutely loved it. And that solidified the opportunity to develop further Thrive magazine, which is, obviously one element of the solution and product that we'll talk to a little bit later in more detail. But having that opportunity to hear directly from a customer what they wanted and what we were able to provide was sensational.
Awesome. So even going back before, how did you find yourself in the health wellness sort of industry, and what's the appeal to it?
Yeah, I think, like I said, the experience from, working with my father's business and working with the healthcare practitioners, these guys are scientific-minded people, and they're not often business-minded people. And so they need a lot of help with various elements of their business, attracting new patients, and then automating that workflow of once we've got them in the system, how do we get them back into their books? And so putting in automations for that has been really key, because these guys, they're not business minded, for the most part. But they're excellent at what they do in keeping people healthy. And so it was just really that melding of or coming together of the practitioner along with what you have to offer to help them succeed.
Yeah.
The wellness focus, I guess, also is quite strong with us because I guess we're very lucky to be living in an environment here in Australia. We're based in Melbourne, in particular. Where we are in Melbourne is in the Bayside area. That it's all about outdoors, beach, sun, surf, sand, fun, and with that comes a innate want and need to remain healthy and active. And both Lachlan and I have young families, so to be able to keep up with them as well, setting them up for a successful future, not only from a financial and an overall well-being perspective, but healthily as well. So we've always been interested in sport, fitness, all that good stuff. You obviously see some large brands out in the marketplace that have exciting products to support from a vitamins and a mineral perspective. So that's something within our focus as well personally. So, bringing all those areas together to match what Lachlan spoke to, was a sort of a natural evolution of the interest in wellness.
Awesome.
Sorry, Dan, if I just can make a comment. It's not just your personal interest. We have been seeing the space growing so much across the globe. It's not even just an Australian thing, it's across the globe. How did you guys see the market? How was the market 5 years ago? How is there, and where do you think it's going to be in 5 years' time?
Yeah, I think it's a massive shift. I think the dynamic and the interest, I do say quite often that COVID was almost a catalyst, but even pre that, there was a movement, there was a tidal wave movement. And I think COVID, funnily enough, has kind of, I think, accelerated it and made our own personal health and a focus on our own, health a lot more laser focused. But like I said, even before that, I really feel like there was a shift in wellness. And when we talk about wellness, it's quite a broad, generic industry. And so I don't want to be too broad with it, but I do believe that where people's focus has gone with their health has been a shift away from, I'm not feeling well, I'll go to the GP and get some antibiotics. There's been a real shift away from that. And there's been a shift to what's the underlying issues going on? What's my gut bacteria? What's going on with something like that stuff? As opposed to, let's just get a pill and hope it goes away. There's a lot more understanding, and I think there's a lot more information scattered throughout the industry. But I think one of our goals is to bring all of that information into one spot where we can get a really holistic approach to our health. If you don't just want to go and get that one quick pill and hope that your problems go away.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. Layla and I are friends with a founder who his company is, they understand your biochemistry and your makeup and how your body breaks down certain proteins and minerals and how your body reacts to things. And it started with a swab and a urine test, and he's got a tech platform, but he's seen the industry change. That sort of understanding was the focus was on sports people and highly trained professionals, and now the greater market, the wider market's opening up. You have people who the gym and fitness centers have been around for decades, but now the common person, if you will, is going to the gym and they want to understand how their body is breaking down certain things, how they react to certain things, what goes into your body, everything that It's no longer, oh, I'm just going to eat a salad and I'm going to be healthy. It's understanding, well, how does your body break down certain proteins? How does your body react to certain things? Because you want to be in peak physical performance. So the whole wellness industry is growing rapidly. There's a lot of change and there's a lot of focus on it. I think the greatest thing about it is, you know, and if you have a look even at a very high level, McDonald's has seen the shift because they're starting to change their menu. Gone are the days where the Big Mac was the most sold burger on the planet. Now the wraps and salads are at the top of the menu board because that's where society's going to. So this whole wellness industry, I think we're at the tip of the iceberg. It's going to be a huge difference, and it's going to be a massive market.
And we've had
Dan, I think work for us, Daniel, if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
With everything you just made mention of, absolutely. You know, I guess Lachlan and I are aware of some of those innovations, which is fantastic. But you know, the general person may not, to a degree, or if they wish to go and research a particular component of wellness, as we talk generally, they may have to go to disparate and individual areas. That's precisely what we're trying to solve, I guess, by way of pulling it all together into a single location. That can assist in that journey from research, identification, into product identification, awareness, into ultimately making a booking with a practitioner that specializes in what is best for the individual.
Yeah. Okay. So touching on that, tell us your solution. You know, imagine I'm a client or a customer. What does it look like? How am I getting involved? Walk me through it. What does it look like from my point of view?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I guess using the example that you made mention of through biochemistry analysis. There's a couple of entry points into our environment that would assist in bringing forward that information. So, of course, it all starts with accessing, our primary digital identity, being the Thrive website, and from there, through some intuitive technology, primarily driven by an underlying search capability. You would be presented with a range of different topics of information aligned to your search term.
Yep.
And then it's basically follow the bouncing ball from there, or choose your own adventure, depending on what the individual is looking for. Once, I guess, there was that general awareness of what they're after, being able to take that next step into locating a practitioner. Or a care team of practitioners that are ultimately going to work with you to solve and help enhance your healthcare needs, would then funnel into that booking process. So the environment is going to be a tightly integrated set of services that starts with the research and education, then into the identification, into the booking process.
Perfect.
That's probably the primary entry point. Complementary to that is the magazine itself, Thrive Magazine, and we can talk to that in a tick, I guess. But that is also another channel that, because it is a digital publication, is fully hyperlinked back into the primary Thrive digital identity as well. So through key content pieces, editorials, and advertisements that do exist in the magazine, the reader can interact with that piece immediately in real time, find themselves directly presented with further information, ultimately enhancing their understanding of what they're looking for into making a booking with that practitioner. So we're pretty excited by that whole journey.
Okay.
And so about the correction of the magazine, because I have seen the magazine myself and it looks great. I told you that before, and you guys are really getting really good traction month by month. So just tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, the magazine's been, really fantastic on a growth trajectory of readership. but also the main model of the magazine is advertising revenue. And we really want to work with, very tightly aligned brands, of where we want the business to go. So where the holistic wellness kind of brands are, or products, they're the ones that we really want to work with. But, the current readership is about 300,000 email addresses that go out twice a month. We really would love to bring that into be a monthly publication. We've just sent out issue 8 and already, hot on stories for issue 9. But the topics that we cover are again tightly aligned to the brand of wellness. We do have quite a strong mental health focus at the moment, particularly through COVID and helping people try and get back into a really good mental space post COVID as we're coming out. So we're aligned to kind of current topics. But the readership is fantastic, and we are really conscious of getting feedback, and so we kind of offer some incentive to readers to give us feedback. And so far, I think, and you've got better stats than me, but it's in the mid-90s to high 90s, either rated as a good or excellent publication, which has been just fantastic to get that proactive feedback.
Importantly, we do literally go through each piece of feedback that we receive to uncover those hidden little nuggets of suggestions. And once we do, then it's quite important for us to find a way to implement that. A classic one a couple of issues ago was around financial health, which does form part of our overall, pillars and foundations of health and well-being. But we just hadn't focused on it so much because of where we were from a COVID perspective. But this particular piece of feedback related to looking at the light at the end of the tunnel of COVID and said, look, we recognise we're going to come out of this at some point. Any tips and tricks that you might be able to help from a financial health perspective to ensure that, we not only come out physically strong, but also financially strong as well. And that was a little bit of a light bulb moment for us, which was great.
Yeah, I like the distribution model. So the magazine ties into the platform. The ad revenue complements what the platform is doing, and it all integrates really, really nicely. So and then with the digital
strategy as well. Sorry, Dan, for cutting you off. Really good for customer acquisition strategy as well, because people that you put on a magazine, they have 600K followers. There was one with 600K, and so you reach all their followers as well, which can become your customers. So it's pretty smart.
Yeah. We try and get some bigger names to help us get the name out there, who then promote it onto their platforms. And quite often, what we have found from that is that we then get some kind of inbound leads saying, "Hey, I'd love the magazine. I'm this such and such practitioner. I'd love to contribute some content to the magazine as well." So we've got content contributors for days, which is great.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So let's touch on the raise. How much you're raising, what's it being used for, what's the offer, and the momentum you've had so far.
Yeah, so we're looking to raise $500,000. And we're looking to offer 20% of equity into the company. Where we want to allocate the funds is really in the tech platform. We want this to be a streamlined, seamless user experience for both sides, because we're actually working with B2B and B2C here. For the B2C, if I'm looking for a certain type of practitioner, I want to be able to, like we've said, either see it in the magazine, click through, come back to our website, read more information, find a practitioner, or find a product as well in the e-commerce store. So we really want to make sure that is all tightly integrated, So I would say the majority of it is really going to go into that platform, into the technology, because technology is really key to the success. And I think we can offer really great long-term success and long-term growth simply because the experience is just so great. And then I think the other side is in the acquisition of the practitioners, because one of the three core pillars is the listing, the business listing, and the booking side of things. So we really want to build a team who can go out and scale this really quickly. There's talk of in the GP space, 20-odd thousand GPs. In the wellness space, it's an unknown quantity. There could literally be hundreds of thousands out there, everything from Reiki to, healing to, we've talked about your belly health. These are the kinds of people that we want to build a successful team who can go out and at scale, bring them into the listing, get them on, get their listing up to speed, and then allow them to access, allow consumers to access bookings on our page.
Okay, awesome. And then in terms of the momentum of the raise, of that $500,000, what's the investor interest been like? What's the conversations and the feedback?
Look, we're pretty early on in this. We've had the conversations obviously with you guys, and the interest I think has been really positive. But it's still early stages. We're still pre-revenue. We've had a few advertising customers come on board. Issue 9 is looking really positive to have several, advertising customers take part in that issue. But in terms of kind of capital raising, it's pre-revenue, I guess you'd still call it. And so, that's really where we're at. We're looking for someone who's ready to take on something at this start, but with a vision that can share with us.
Yeah. I think.
And if you just jump in there for a tick, I guess the journey for us also getting to only starting to think about capital raising now has been sort of what I made mention of earlier, to embed a key piece of the overall service and business that we're operating. We're coming into issue 9, which means there's been 8 issues prior to that. So we wouldn't have continued on without significant interest in the magazine as a standalone. And any time we've had the opportunity to speak to potential customers about the evolution of what it means, they've absolutely backed it and said, look, when you get there, let us know.
Yeah.
So from our perspective, that was, I guess, a key indicator for us to take this next step and start to look at how we can get to that point.
Yeah.
I think, so far the school just, come out of our own pockets. We've been funding every aspect of it so far to get it to a point where we kind of say, to really go to that next level, we really need, some significant investment into it if we want to make us a good run at it.
Yeah. So what would your ideal investor be? Are you looking for a fund? Are you looking for an angel with, strategy as well as, capital? What are you looking to bring on board? It gives us a good idea, where who we can go out to and the conversations we can have, because there are quite a few high net worths and angel investors who have had experience in the startup space, who may have successfully sold their business, who can provide that guidance to that next level. But then you also might be able to tap into, people coming from that health and wellness space who may have a practice who wants to come on, with as an investor, but also utilizing your platform as, a distribution channel for their offering.
Yeah, I think I'd start off by saying who I don't want. And yeah. I'd say I don't want someone who is just a money person, who just says, here's some cash and, I hope it goes well. Yeah. I'd say I'd want someone who would like to share in the passion, who'd like to come along with the journey, who has experience, I think, like you say, either startup world or marketplace world. That's certainly someone who I think would add a lot of value. All the wellness space who has kind of some aligned brands that they might have worked with, who can make some introductions.
Yeah. Okay.
The other thing we haven't necessarily touched on per se, but is relevant to that question that you've asked, Dan, is, the beauty of technology is that there's no geographical boundaries.
Yeah.
Whilst we fully intend to smash it out here in the Australian market, of course, to take this relatively globally, if not universally, the opportunities there, right? So for someone who may very well have reaches into international markets, would be of significant benefit as well.
Okay, perfect. That gives us a good idea. I think, especially in the US and the UK, this is wellness is a growing sector. But then if you look at Asia, it is also quite it's quite a good fit because traditional medicine is widely used throughout Southeast Asia. So providing a tech platform is it's just a solution that they need for an industry that's been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. So I'll leave it at there because I think we've touched on a lot. But what we'll do is we'll put your details in the description of this video, and if anybody who's looking to get in touch with your guys, just connect with Layla or myself, and we can get you involved in the process. I think as I mentioned before, I think the space is while it's still a large industry, we're yet to see its full potential. I think the way that the society is shifting their focus, and I think the wellness space is just going to be absolutely massive.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, well said. You're poised. You're in the right position to capitalize on it. Society is just the trends are heading that way, and we've seen it. Judging by even the startup focus, we've seen it. But I know myself personally over the last few years, I've been focusing on health and well-being. So looking at it myself personally, I've seen my focuses shift, and like you, Anthony, and Lachlan, I've got a young family, so I want to keep up with my sons. I'm going to soccer and swimming and football and little athletics with them. So I want to be able to keep up. So health and wellness is now my one of my focuses as well.
It's a brave new world we live in, and my wife and I regularly talk about this with a lens of what the future holds for our children, and we're excited by it. There's still that trepidation, of course, because screens dominate our worlds these days. So to be able to find that sort of energy, enthusiasm, and sort of passion to, acknowledge that screens are part of the world, but there's a big wide world out there, and to get out, really for us is about, tapping into those resources that are out there. And for us, this business is about really bringing all that together into a centralized, convenient, intuitive, however many other buzzwords you want me to use, but something that really adds benefit to people's life without being too intrusive.
Yeah, perfect. All right, well, thanks for jumping on and chatting with us. It's been great to get to understand your business, and like I said, I'm excited about what you're doing, the space, and the distribution model is just something I haven't seen. So I really I'm keen to see where it goes, and I'll be looking out for episode for issue number 9.
Terrific.
Awesome.
Thank you, Dan.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
It's been great chatting, and we'll share this out to our audience.
Beautiful. Lovely. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Thanks a lot.